Hello everybody, Shadow SP here, and we are back with more Granblue Fantasy. Today we're going to be trying to take on another member of the Six Dragon Advent. That'd be Vermillion, the red element. Yes, red element. That'd be fire, which is a perfect time to talk a little bit about some V2 history for anyone that's curious. But we'll get to that in a minute. First of all, let's get into the quest. Alright, so our usual thing for these Six Dragon Advents, come into the free quest list, go over here, and here is Six Dragon Advent Vermillion. The red one. Alright, we're going to be going for Leviathan Omega, since we are running a crit grid, and this is the setup that I am looking at. So we're looking to run a main character on Sage for the heals and being able to just keep everything running. We are running Esna as our main hand for the mirror image on charge attack, with Splitting Spirit as a hold on one second. Yeah, with Splitting Spirit as one of our sub skills. Peace of Mind, which is a extended mastery skill version of Clarity, and Miserable Mist. Sorry. Had to double check that was the right skill. Other than that, we're kind of bringing this standard setup with our characters with Love Live, Lily, Aliza tends to be our third member nowadays, and UL in the last position. We have a little bit of a new addition here, with which is one of the side story characters from Fall of the Dragon. They've called it Melinda. It's Beth John in Japanese. Not really a big deal. In either case, this is a character that can be adjusted quite a bit. It can end up in any element and with either attack or defense specs. We have a water defense version, so that means that this is a water character with substitute, which is great. It's something that we needed. And it's pretty useful for this fight. So, think that there's nothing particularly interesting to talk about with our grid other than that. We've got, the Carbuncle for damage reduction. We're bringing Tiamat for the mirror image, kind of on demand. And we're otherwise just kind of bringing a pretty standard crit grid, just packing a little bit of HP in there, a little bit of extra HP from the double Xenos. So, yeah, let's see how this goes. I'm hoping well enough. Wilnas, the Six Dragon Vermillion, does have the lowest HP total out of all of the Six Dragon admin bosses at 165 million. It's a pretty far way away from the 192, I want to say, from Six Dragon White. Alright. So, let's go ahead and start getting buffs up. And I'll talk about. So this fight was the second V2 fight added to the game after Lindworm, and there were some problems with it. For one thing, V2 back in the day. Okay, so that is fully resisted. V2 back in the day was not like V2 now. There were some pretty significant differences. Okay, Black Crevice is that. So that one's one that we can. Let's just go ahead and do this so we can get this off of cooldown. It's a single target. So yeah, Wilnas is basically a fight that screwed over V2 in a lot of different ways. We can talk about that in a minute, because it is legitimately funny. But yeah, I mean, like back in the day, V2 was a different animal. Like it used to be. Okay, so we're already got a mirror image there, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's go ahead and heal. But yeah, it used to be that if you use the skill in V2 on a specific turn, you weren't able to guard anymore, which is a bad thing. It really did hurt V2. And it didn't used to have chain bursts, right? You didn't used to be able to control where your when the fated chain went off. It just went off whenever it was full. All right, so what's happening here? We're getting Magma Chamber, which is a plan damage nuke for 70% of the max HP value. So we're going to substitute, so it only hits one character, and it's still only going to hit for 70% of this character's max HP. And this is one of the ways that Wilnas screws over V2. It's pretty funny. Okay, so Heat Ray is static damage, so that's one of the other ways that you get V2 screwed over. Static damage isn't reduced by guarding. Neither is the plan damage from Magma Chamber. Also, Magma Chamber is the only cancelable omen in this fight, and it requires you hit 40 times, which is an absolutely ridiculous number. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and attack first. Alright, with 70% reduction, we don't take that much damage. And we'll heal off a couple of different, couple debuffs with Lily. We're looking at next trigger is at 65%. Okay, Black Crevice is one we can actually guard through. Yeah, so basically, Heat Ray, static damage, Magma Chamber, flame damage. Real painful. So yeah, Fated Chains back in the day, just in case we were talking about V2 history, they didn't used to all be the same. They are today, but they didn't used to all be the same. I don't remember exactly what the effect is because it's been so long. But it used to be the case that the V2 chain burst, the Fated Chain, would do damage. I think it was more damage than it does now, but it also would deal an effect based on the element that the element was good at, which I think resulted in one of the elements being just like raw healing, which was terrible. I don't really remember because it's been so long since they made the change, so it doesn't do that anymore. One thing that's bad about having this particular team comp is that we have 2 unknown race characters, so we're not getting double activations on Lily's second skill. So the biggest thing that was bad about old V2 was how summons interacted with omen displays. That was the thing. So back in the day, if you use the summon, it would refresh the omen display. So what does that actually mean? That sounds like a bunch of nonsense, and it is. Say I canceled an omen. If after I've canceled that omen, what happens next? Well, what you'd normally expect, right? So say I used a bunch of skills to cancel my on this fight, the 40 hit omen for Magma Chamber, and you know, late in my turn, I decide, oh, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the button. So Hadron Sphere is shorted and burned. That's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the button to use a summon. And when I do that, alright, Black Crevice, that's the one that we can guard through, so we're gonna do that. But when I do that with what I was talking about, the summons, I've used all my skills, my characters are all ready to go, I press summon, I have hit the boss into another trigger. What happens then? Using the summon causes the new omen to get displayed immediately. Right? And that completely screws over whoever is, whenever you're playing in V2, right? Okay, so this is one more turn. Charge bar is frozen. Okay, that's not so bad. Yeah, alright. Go ahead and guard with Lily. So our dragon friend here will dispel these buffs that we've got on if she uses start the charge tag. So we're gonna go ahead and summon Tiamat here for the mirror image. And we can go ahead and ignition for the bonus heal. I don't really need to hold my Fated Chain here. I should probably be using it. Alright, let's go ahead and clear off that burn. Okay, we're looking okay right now. Let's go ahead and charge attack. We don't really have a reason to stay in adult form. It doesn't really give you anything of value to stay in adult form. Okay, Heat Ray. Heat Ray is the static damage one. We need that to not happen at full capacity, so we're going to go ahead and use Lily's Silver Frost Barrier. And we're going to go ahead and wait to use our first skill on main character until after this goes off. Just so we can get the healing plus the debuff duration down. Okay, not a problem. Summon C2. We're moving toward the 40% trigger, which is good for us. Because really, the 90% trigger wasn't why we brought the substitute character, it's the 40% trigger. The funny thing is, the magma chamber is straight up not an issue on the raid version because it doesn't do flame damage. Oh wait, she's got mirror image. I can just attack. Alright. Okay, so we attack into this, we get take a bunch of damage as all the debuffs get dispelled. Oh, that's a dodge. Okay, that's good stuff. So Magma Chamber at 40% hits 4 targets, which is everyone. So we can sub that. Go ahead and do this. Alright, we get our main character's Miserable Miss back next turn, so we're not taking any random hits without debuffs. So it still only hits for 70% of total HP. All right, then we have Heat Ray, which is now even higher amounts of static damage, but we still have a mirror image on, so we don't have a problem with that. And after this, we don't have to deal with plane damage anymore, so we can use Substitute on the dragon to eat one of these single target attacks and bring in a better character for dealing damage. Okay, let's lower our debuff durations. Let's go ahead and get Leviathan Summon. That applies a reflect, so we take a little bit less damage. We have Splitting Spirit up and available, so we can get Mirror Image on everyone. Okay, so this one's a team attack, so we just guard through this. We just guard through Pale Fire. It's pretty annoying, but there's not much we can do about it. Let's go ahead and summon Novio to reduce the damage that we take and apply the regen. Okay, let's get that burn off of everybody. Do we get rid of Collapsed? Yes, we do, because Collapse is a really annoying debuff. And we apply the multi-attack buff, and go on in. Just send it. Alright, so in the second half, we see what happens here. We did get a random hit of Skill Seal on a character, because normal attacks have a chance of inflicting Skill Seal in this half, which is pretty annoying. There's not much we can do about it, but yeah, it does suck. Alright, so we're getting Collapsed. It's kind of annoying. Let's summon C2. So we can get Lily to charge attack this turn. Let's go ahead and use this Faded Chain here. This will apply Mirror Image on everybody, so we shouldn't take any damage. And I figured, you know, now's a good time, as good a time as any to clear Vermillion, since I actually bought the Draconic Harp and want to start building it because it's a good main hand, and we're not gonna have Fire Opus for a long time. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and use Silver Frost Barrier just so we can get the auto heals coming in. We're gonna wait to heal with our main character until after this goes out, so we can reduce the debuff durations. And if anything single target at all shows up, we are done. We're just going straight in with that substitute, which theoretically single target moves do still show up in this half fight. There, that's single target. All right. Die, baby dragon, die! This is cruel. What am I doing? Alright, so we have our better characters out for the damage side of things. Let's go ahead and clear off that shorted debuff. Okay, we're good to go. We'll just take this hit. There's a lot of guarding involved here. I mean, it's just kind of how it is. Alright, clear off the Collapse. And now we're getting double activations on Lily, so we'll do better damage now. Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes we just end up spending a lot of time guarding because boss keeps spamming Pale Fire. That's how it is. Okay, we can just attack into this because we have main character Esna charge attack coming in. So that gives everybody mirror image. problem. Go ahead and use this and the multi-attack buff. Let's go ahead and summon C2 just for damage and shielding. As we are very, very quickly approaching the end of this. See, we still have mirror image here, so we don't have to do anything. So, ultimately, Wilnas isn't that bad, but he used to be worse because of the differences in V2, right? We end up dealing you end up dealing a lot of damage with chain bursts, more than you think. It's less than your normal charge attacks and everything, but chain bursts do add up over the course of the whole fight. That and we didn't have master levels back then, so we are stronger than we would have been in the same class setup. But yeah, I mean, clearly, you know, we were able to win, right? It's just that, you know, we needed some stuff that we wouldn't have had back then. Like, Esna wasn't around. We didn't have any ads at the time. So how do you get a mirror image? Well, imagine what we had instead. Except instead, our entire summon grid was just Tiamats. That probably would have been how I did it. With the exact same team. Like it works, right? Clearly. So we managed to get the fire version of the Six Dragons mat. Got a nice farm set up for red dragon scales, and some urns are available. Get some extra quartz, though fire is the element we have a bunch of quartz in. So, yeah, good stuff. And we're probably going to end up keeping the little dragon as water defense, kind of permanently. If we need to, that dragon can be reset in the Fall of the Dragon side story page. And you can make it any other element that we need a substitute character in, which could be useful. But for now, we're just going to keep it there. It's going to be useful, especially when we get to having a water evoker, for having someone to be able to switch them in pretty easily. So, well, we'll get there. Alright, well, without any further ado then, this has been Shadow SP. Thanks for watching. Signing off.